Indiana Disability History Project, Indiana Institute on Disability and Community, Indiana University. Segregated Education for Children with Disabilities. Pat Barber.
When I got my degree in special education, my job was at Stonebelt Center in the early 70s. And at that time, Stonebelt Center was a facility in the location it is right now, which was, all the services occurred. Children and adults went to that center. So from one end of the building to the other end of the building, children, preschoolers, and adults with disabilities were served in that facility. No children were really served in a community setting, in a public school, especially children with moderate to severe disabilities. They were all at Stonebelt. There were 8 or 9 classrooms, and one end were preschoolers, infants, preschoolers, and then just gradually up to school age. And there was a separate classroom, even in that building, for kids with more profound disabilities. But it was not unlike what happens in a gen ed class or in an elementary school. There were small group activities. There would be large group, individual one-on-one sessions. Kids did not leave the classroom much. The only time the kids left the classroom is when they were going to lunch. There was outside time, like what would be considered a recess, gross motor time outside. But it was primarily instruction in the classroom. When I started, they were really starting to coordinate with the public schools. So there were teachers in that building that were employed by the public schools, and that was in the early 70s. So they were contracted public school teachers, and the building administrator, Joan Burton, was part of her salary was reimbursed by the public schools as a principal. So we operated on a school calendar. So if there was, like over the winter break or spring break, there were no classes. But administratively, Stonebelt had the resources, the funding to run summer programs within that building, which was another concern for families, what would happen to their kids in the summer when school was out. So they primarily did have programs that ran year-round. One of the stories about that experience for me, because I was a new grad, and we, even then, were trying to be more inclusive and drop some of this really negative language. And I remember parents talking about they wanted their Stonebelt buses to say Stonebelt Center for Retarded Citizens. They wanted those buses all around town because they knew that there were many more kids, children not being served that were in their homes, and their families wouldn't know anything about it.
Music, Redwood Trail. Produced by Indiana Institute on Disability and Community, Center for Health Equity. Funded in part by the Indiana Governor's Council for People with Disabilities. Copyright 2019, the Trustees of Indiana University.